In Term 1, undergraduate students from UNSW Business School helped our industry partner, Southwestern Sydney Local Health District, solve one of their most pressing issues. We visited Liverpool Hospital, where we learned how a hospital operates, from managing ambulance to respond to various crises, allocating beds in the ICU, to keeping patients' health data secure and accessible to relevant departments. Over 10 weeks, the students learned incredibly impactful skills to prepare them for life after university. The most important of which included team building, efficient time management, and the ability to apply human-centered design thinking to offer practical solutions. Here's what our students have to say about their experiences.
The most valuable part of COMM2233 for me was definitely being able to work on a real-life problem, and that really brought everything that we've been learning to life. It wasn't just about theory anymore. We had to take these concepts and actually apply them to solve real organizational issues. This pushed me outside my comfort zone, especially when it came to turning ideas into practical solutions. I developed quite a few skills from this course, but if I had to highlight a few, it would definitely be teamwork, working closely with the group under time pressure, juggling different ideas, and trying to stay aligned with the client's needs really taught me how to collaborate better. Secondly is problem solving. We had to think critically, looking at the root of the problem and gaps to figure out how to improve them in innovative ways. And finally, I would say professional communication, because it's not just about writing reports, but also presenting ideas clearly and persuasively, like we did in our final presentation.
The most important learning experience I've gained from COMM2233 was realizing how different real-world consulting is from university case studies. Working with a real client like the Southwestern Sydney Local Health District meant that we had to constantly adapt to their changes, manage their expectations, and navigate ambiguity at some times, which are all skills I hadn't really needed to hone in on before. I also developed strong teamwork and communication skills, especially when our group initially struggled to connect with one another. One of our group members had to join late and missed out on the early bonding sessions that we did, so I suggested to do informal catch-ups and check-ins with one another to help build trust and make sure that everyone felt more comfortable with one another. Small activities and steps like this really made a big difference overall in building trust amongst one another and encourage open collaboration and connection.
And here's what our mentors have to say.
Hi, my name's Brian Chow. I'm one of the project managers for Southwest Sydney Local Health District. The first question that I was asked was how was the mentoring experience for me? I'd say it was an overall pleasant experience. It really did feel like a consultation. There were clear structured meetings each week where we were being asked all the right questions. I only hope that we were able to provide sufficient responses back. And it was very great to see, clear project, progress going week to week. So that was really nice. The second question was, what was the biggest takeaway that the students learned from me and or this project this term? I can't speak from their perspective, but I hope they've seen how complex New South Wales health is, particularly in terms of our inpatient settings, our outpatient settings, the patients that we aim to serve, the executive that we're all working with. I hope they got a grip on how difficult it can be to exist in such a rigid system. The next question was, did I learn anything new from this experience? I guess some overarching thoughts were that I've always enjoyed group assignments, contrary to most. It was an absolute pleasure working with this team. I definitely learned that the newer generations are far more technologically innovative. They're thinking about new ways to bring technology to the health space, or I guess the industry space. So that was really heartwarming, because I know that it's something that we desperately need. I guess it's the feedback that I was providing was that it's difficult to bring new technology into a system such as New South Wales Health. So loved the passion, loved the thought. I can't wait for them to be part of our system.
I would say I learned a number of things from this experience, but the first one I would say is the importance of putting in effort as a teacher or mentor. I think students see that, feel that, and they do appreciate that. So I think, having those regular catch-ups, being available to students via Teams or other modes of communication channels, they really appreciated that, which I think supported their engagement and obviously their fantastic results. But the other thing to add to that is the importance of listening to their problems, listening to the issues that they're currently facing, and being understanding. There are students who have jobs and other units of study to complete. So I think that was important. I think the biggest takeaway students took from myself was the importance of understanding the context of your problem. Problems are quite specific to the particular region or population group, and within our own personal district, we are very different to other districts within New South Wales. And I think the students over the weeks tended to appreciate that more, which enabled them to provide more practical and realistic recommendations which were relevant to our district here at South Western Sydney Local Health District.
And here's what Jason Lawrence, the project owner, has to say.
As feedback for the Career Accelerator course, I think there's three key things I'd like to go through. The first one is the biggest things aren't always the best things. So one of the great suggestions from this semester or trimester was such a small suggestion around workforce listening. It's such a simple, elegant, and realizable solution. So the solution doesn't need to be big bang. You can really start small. I think the mentoring is always a great development opportunity for both mentors and mentees. And so it's always a great opportunity for some of our staff to get some time with a bunch of students who are up and coming and might have some different ways to attack problems, and some potentially some more tech savvy solutions to ways of working. From an admin perspective, the business school and obviously the Career Accelerator team, really easy to get along with. You streamline stuff, you make it easy. Thank you for that. And lastly, if there was one improvement point I'd have, I think it's back to that first point. Students always want to go really big with their solutions to solve problems for organizations, and often big bang is too hard to do. That's why it hasn't happened. So I'd say if there's one thing you could do, it'd be to get students to think more conceptually about problems and make a decision from a conceptual perspective about whether you're actually fixing the problem. So big bang, we're gonna fix the problem and it's a simple solution. Are you going to do something little that helps tinker around the edges and make it a bit better? Or can you somehow reframe the problem completely and then your solution actually does become innovative and a bit left field? But wonderful experience working with you all. Thanks to the students, thanks to the academics and coordinators. Cheers.
And what have our students learned as a result of this experience?
This experience overall from COMM2233 has definitely shaped how I see my future beyond uni. I'm now more drawn into roles like consulting or HR transformation, where I can blend developing teams with problem solving as well. It's showed me that project success is not just about having the right strategy, but rather understanding and supporting the people behind it. Looking back, this course did not just teach me how to work on a project, it's helped me to grow into someone who's excited by challenge, motivated by other people, and inspired to keep learning beyond the classroom.
This course has definitely changed how I see my future. Before this term, I didn't realize how central problem solving is to consulting projects. We spent a large part of the term really digging into the organizational issues, and now I understand why. Because getting to the root of the problem is crucial. It's the only way to develop solutions that are actually effective and targeted.
Huge shout out to our students for putting in the hard work and dedication over the 10 weeks, the academics, support staff, and of course our industry partner, South Western Sydney Local Health District, for this amazing opportunity.